Chapter 1414. To the west of the village, more than 2,000 miles away, there was a dense jungle. However, there was not a single beast in the jungle. It was dead silent. Swoosh. But suddenly, a piercing sound could be heard. A young man in white entered the sky above the jungle. It was Qin Feiyang. As soon as he arrived at the sky above the jungle, Qin Feiyang felt that something was wrong. Not only were there no beasts in the jungle, there was not even a flying insect. Moreover, there was a stench in the air. But it was very faint. Qin Feiyang was unable to distinguish what was emitting the smell for a while. He continued to fly forward. The trees here were very thick. There were even some ancient trees that could not be surrounded by more than a dozen people holding hands. The thick vines were like horned dragons, and they were filled with a vigorous aura. But that stench was getting more and more obvious. Qin Feiyang gradually frowned. This stench made him suddenly think of something. Feces. The deeper he went into the jungle, the stronger the stench was. It was simply disgusting. Finally, Qin Feiyang could not help but cover his nose, hold his breath, and murmured, "Did I come to the wrong place? But the devil cliff that second grandpa said is in this direction." He was a little puzzled. Soon, he went deep into the jungle for dozens of miles. Suddenly, a giant mountain came into sight. The giant mountain was more than 10,000 feet high. It was completely black. There were no plants on it. It was completely bare. And under the giant mountain, there was an ancient and dilapidated stone tablet. There were 3 bold words engraved on the tablet. Devil Cliff. This is Devil Cliff? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. He raised his head and glanced at the giant mountain. He slowly discovered that the pungent stench actually came from Devil Cliff. Swoosh. When Qin Feiyang approached Devil Cliff, the stench was simply overwhelming. Even the smell was crazily drilling into his pores. What exactly is this thing? Qin Feiyang was puzzled. He slowly approached Devil Cliff. Soon, he discovered that the entire surface of Devil Cliff was covered with a layer of sticky stuff. What is this? Qin Feiyang frowned. However, when he was about to reach the Devil's Cliff, his expression changed. He quickly stopped and retreated. That sticky thing was actually feces. He stood in the distance and looked at the Devil's Cliff, the corners of his mouth twitching. So this was Devil's Cliff. It was no wonder that Lu Zheng and the children in the village changed their expressions when they heard about Devil's Cliff. Only a ghost would want to come to such a place. "Second cousin, where are you? Come out, we're leaving." Qin Feiyang shouted, not daring to get any closer. "Bastard." Immediately, a furious roar exploded halfway up the Devil Mountain, like rolling thunder, resounding through the sky. Following closely, he then saw Lu Zheng flying through the air in an aggressive manner. When Qin Feiyang saw that the situation was not good, he quickly turned around and fled. "Qin Feiyang, I'm not done with you today." Lu Zheng stared at Qin Feiyang's back, gnashing his teeth. He looked as if he wanted to skin Qin Feiyang alive. "Second cousin, let's talk nicely," Qin Feiyang said. Lu Zheng shouted, "There's nothing to talk about, unless you go to Devil's Cliff and stay there for 2 days. "I won't do it." Qin Feiyang pursed his lips. If he had known in advance that Devil's Cliff was such a place, he would not have come even if he was beaten to death. Lu Zheng suddenly burned with anger and shouted, "You also know that this is not a place for people to stay. Then why did you cheat me?" "I didn't know." Qin Feiyang smiled apologetically. "Is not knowing a reason? How can there be such a good thing in the world?" Lu Zheng angrily chased after Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang did not fight back. He fled without looking back. On one hand, it was because he was in the wrong. On the other hand, it was because Lu Zheng also had a stench on him. The two of them chased one after the other. After about an hour, a vast sea came into sight. The Lu family was in the reincarnation sea. This was just a very big island. Qin Feiyang looked at the sea and frowned. Although he had not entered the sea, he could already feel the terrifying aura. And these auras were basically from 9-star combat emperors. It could be seen that the sea ahead was definitely not a place where ordinary people could set foot. Whoosh! He slammed on the brakes and stopped in the void. He turned around and looked at Lu Zheng. He said angrily, "Are you done yet?" If his second grandpa had not asked him to bring Lu Zheng along, he would not have bothered to take so long. I'm not done. Lu Zheng rushed toward Qin Feiyang with monstrous anger. The morning court in the throne room has already begun. I don't have time to mess around with you now. If you continue to pester me like this, don't blame me for being rude. Qin Feiyang covered his nose and raised his eyebrows. Lu Zheng had stayed on the Devil's Cliff for 2 days. He really smelled like a pile of feces. Seeing Qin Feiyang cover his nose, Lu Zheng was undoubtedly even more annoyed and almost lost his mind. Boom! Qin Feiyang did not waste any more words. His emperor's aura rolled out and directly sent Lu Zheng flying. He said, "When you calm down, come to the Imperial Palace to find me." After that, Qin Feiyang then opened the teleportation gate and rushed in without looking back. "Don't go!" Lu Zheng roared and immediately rushed toward the portal. Boom! But just as he was about to reach the portal, a surge of purple-gold dragon chi roared out of the portal like a tide. Lu Zheng was blasted away again. When he stabilized his body and rushed toward the portal again, the portal had already dissipated. "Bastard, I won't let you go!" Lu Zheng roared again and again. He was so angry that the sea beasts in the sea ahead were frightened. The Imperial Palace, civil and military officials, as well as the marquises, gathered in the throne room. But at this moment, the entire throne room was dead silent. The ministers standing in the main hall all lowered their heads and seemed to be deep in thought. Above, the little prince, wearing a dragon robe and a dragon crown, sat on the dragon throne. Although he had just succeeded the throne a few days ago, he already had the temperament of an emperor and was much more mature than before. Next to him, the imperial preceptor stood upright with his hands behind his back, glancing at the people below with sharp eyes. However, at this time, the most eye-catching person was a young man in purple. He stood in front of the ministers, his body straight and his eyes straight, exuding a threatening aura. That's right. He was Zhuge Mingyang. The imperial preceptor raised his eyebrows, looked at everyone and shouted, "Why are you all so silent? Zhuge Mingyang is the only son of the Marquis of Zhuge. Is there a problem with him inheriting the position of Marquis?" Civil and military officials, the various marquises, you look at me, I look at you, none of them daring to be the first to stand out and express their stance. Suddenly, Marquis Xiao took a step forward, looked at the imperial preceptor and said, "The Zhuge family has been killed by Qin Feiyang, and only Zhuge Mingyang is left. There is naturally no problem for him to inherit the position of Marquis. But I would like to ask the imperial preceptor, does Emperor Hong agree to this? Such an important matter. How dare this imperial preceptor make his own decision? Of course, with the consent of Emperor Hong." The imperial preceptor said expressionlessly, but there was a hint of killing intent hidden in his old eyes. Marquis Xiao said, "Since Emperor Hong has already agreed, then as subjects, we naturally do not dare to have any objections." With that he retreated. "All right. Marquis Xiao has already agreed, what about you?" The imperial preceptor looked at the others. Marquis Xiao raised his eyebrows, extended his hand and said, "Lord Imperial Preceptor, let me correct you. I only said that I have no objections. I did not say that I agree." "Old thing, you're courting death." Zhuge Mingyang raised his eyebrows, turned his head to look at Marquis Xiao, and a trace of killing intent lurked in his eyes. The imperial preceptor also flew into a rage out of humiliation. He stared at Marquis Xiao and said, "What do you mean?" Marquis Xiao glanced at Zhuge Mingyang, then raised his head to look at the imperial preceptor, and said indifferently, "Marquis Wu inheriting the throne is not a child's play. Can't I reserve my opinion?" "Yes, of course." The imperial preceptor nodded and smiled, but his smile was very terrifying. The threat in his eyes was no longer concealed. The officials were terrified. However, Marquis Xiao turned a blind eye to it and said indifferently, "Zhuge Mingyang's talent is obvious to all, but as a martial marquis, what you need is not only talent, but also loyalty." At this point, Marquis Xiao's gaze turned, looked at Zhuge Mingyang and said, "Zhuge Mingyang, tell this marquis, are you loyal to the great Qin?" The imperial preceptor's face darkened. Zhuge Mingyang couldn't help but clench his fists tightly. "If you are truly loyal to the great Qin, then swear in front of us right now, in the name of your Zhuge family's ancestors, that you will forever be loyal to the great Qin. If you betray us, then the heavens and earth will destroy you. Do you dare? Marquis Xiao shouted with a stern expression. Zhuge Mingyang's gaze trembled. Could it be that this Marquis Xiao knew something? Marquis Xiao, your words are a bit too much. Zhuge Mingyang is a subject of my great Qin. How is he not loyal? Suddenly, a martial marquis looked at Marquis Xiao with dissatisfaction. This person was Marquis Qianwu. Marquis Xiao said, I only want him to swear an oath. What's so difficult about that? Marquis Qianwu said, There's no problem with swearing an oath, but I just feel that your attitude is too aggressive, and I feel that you are targeting Zhuge Mingyang. I think so too. Marquis Xiao, do you have any enmity with Zhuge Mingyang? Why are you targeting him like this? Another martial marquis stood up to speak up for Zhuge Mingyang. This person was Marquis Enwu. Marquis Xiao frowned. Marquis Enwu glanced at him indifferently and said, Actually, there's not much meaning in swearing an oath. I only want to say one thing, as long as you have a clear conscience. With that, he raised his head to look at the imperial tutor and the little prince and bowed. Imperial tutor, your majesty, this subject agrees that Zhuge Mingyang should inherit the title of Marquis of Zhuge. This subject also agrees. Marquis Qianwu followed. This subject agrees as well. Another 3 martial marquis stepped out in unison and said to the imperial tutor and the little prince. These 3 people were the Marquis of Qi Wu, Marquis Mo Wu and Marquis Gu Wu, who had been bribed by the imperial tutor. The imperial tutor nodded his head in satisfaction and looked at the others. Who else has any objections? If not, this imperial tutor will announce it. As he spoke, he took out an imperial edict. Marquis Xiao looked at the other marquis and ministers, his brows tightly knitted together. The marquis and ministers all expressed their opinions one after another, and in the end, none of them objected. Qin Feiyang, hurry up and show yourself. Otherwise, no one will be able to stop the imperial tutor. Marquis Xiao muttered to himself. The imperial tutor coldly glanced at Marquis Xiao, waved his hand, and opened the imperial edict. All the civil and military officials immediately knelt on the ground, including the Marquis of Xiao. When the imperial edict was read, no matter who it was, they had to kneel down and listen. This was a rule that had been left behind since ancient times, and even a martial marquis could not violate it. However, just as the imperial tutor was about to read the imperial edict, a man in white suddenly descended in front of the door of the throne room. Who else could it be but Qin Feiyang? Looking at the imperial tutor who was about to read the imperial edict, Qin Feiyang heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he had arrived in time. Following that, he sneered, strode into the throne room and said, Zhuge Mingyang inherits the throne. Have you asked for my opinion, Qin Feiyang? Qin Feiyang. Chapter 14-15. Qin Feiyang. Why is he here? At the same time, there was an uproar in the throne room. All the marquises and ministers looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Zhuge Mingyang, the state preceptor, and the young prince also looked at Qin Feiyang with hatred in their eyes. The young prince suddenly shouted, Outsiders are not allowed to enter the throne room during the morning court. Stop him. The Kirin army guarding the throne room didn't dare to stop Qin Feiyang. But after hearing the young prince's order, they could only brace themselves to stop Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked at the little prince. The hatred in his eyes was clearly visible. Hating me is the right thing to do, because only hatred can make you grow quickly, Qin Feiyang murmured. Looking at the Kirin army in front of him, he lightly said, Get out of the way. This is His Majesty White Sky's decree. We have to do it. Don't make things difficult for us, okay? The Kirin army looked at Qin Feiyang pleadingly. Qin Feiyang glanced at them one by one and nodded. Okay, I won't make things difficult for you. The Kirin army sighed in relief. However, right at the moment when they thought that Qin Feiyang would retreat, Qin Feiyang suddenly waved his hand. A strong wind rose, and they were immediately blown away. Impudent! A Kirin army shouted angrily. Are you stupid? He already showed mercy. Why are you still shouting? If it weren't for the fact that we're commanders, we would have already gone to hell. Shut up. Anyway, we've already stopped him. It's not disobeying His Majesty White Sky's order. What happens next has nothing to do with us. The other members of the Qilin army immediately shouted at that person. Inside the hall, Qin Feiyang stepped in front of the ministers and stood next to Zhuge Mingyang. He cupped his hands and said, "This commoner Qin Feiyang greets His Majesty White Sky. I don't want to see you. Get out of here at once." The young prince stood up and shouted. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, "After I've finished dealing with the matters here, this commoner will naturally leave without the need for your majesty to say anything. In addition, you are now the ruler of a country, so you must pay attention to your image. Try not to do something like yelling and shouting in the imperial court again." The little prince angrily stared at Qin Feiyang. In the end, he coldly snorted, clenched his two small hands, and returned to the dragon throne. "Qin Feiyang, although you and His Majesty White Sky are brothers, you've already been expelled from the imperial palace. Please leave immediately." Marquis Qianwu's eyes flashed as he stood up and shouted at Qin Feiyang. He would never forget the death of his son. In the past, because he was afraid of Qin Feiyang, he did not dare to say a word. But now, with the imperial tutor, a peak false god, supporting him, he was no longer afraid. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and turned to look at Marquis Qianwu with a playful look in his eyes. "Did I say something wrong? This is the most sacred throne room. How can a commoner like you barge in?" Marquis Qianwu coldly shouted, then looked at the ministers around him and said, "All of you tell me, am I right?" Obviously he was fanning the flames, but the result disappointed Marquis Qianwu. No one present dared to say a word. Even Marquis An Wu, Marquis Mo Wu, Marquis Ge Wu, and Marquis Qi Wu, who were in the same camp as him, remained silent. Qin Feiyang laughed in ridicule, looked at the ministers and said, "There's something I suddenly forgot. Can any of you remind me, how many times have I destroyed the throne room?" Everyone's heart trembled. From his tone, was he going to destroy the throne room again? If it was anyone else, they would definitely not think so, because no one dared to be impudent in the throne room. But Qin Feiyang was a person who could not be treated with ordinary eyes. Qin Feiyang looked at Marquis Qianwu and sneered. "I even dared to destroy the throne room. Do you think I would be afraid of you fanning the flames here?" Marquis Qianwu's expression froze. The imperial tutor suppressed his anger and said in a deep voice, "Qin Feiyang, what exactly do you want?" Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, looked at the imperial tutor and said, "Last night, the ancestor gave me a dream. Do you know what it was?" The imperial tutor raised his eyebrows. "The ancestor told me two things. The first is about Zhuge Mingyang inheriting the marquis title. The ancestor said that this Zhuge Mingyang has disloyalty to the great Qin and cannot be allowed to inherit the marquis title." Qin Feiyang chuckled. "Ridiculous. Let's not talk about whether your dream is real or not. Just your words are not credible." The imperial tutor sneered. "Of course my words are not credible. However, I wonder if Lord Imperial Tutor still remembers that I told you that I have a recording of your conversation with the Grand Valley Master." Qin Feiyang teased. The Imperial Tutor's pupils constricted as he sent a voice transmission. "Don't think that you can threaten me with that recording." "Did I threaten you?" Qin Feiyang asked back. "If that's not a threat, then what is?" The Imperial Tutor said angrily. Qin Feiyang laughed. "I just want you to understand a principle. As long as I, Qin Feiyang, am here, you can't do whatever you want." The Imperial Tutor clenched his fists. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, turned to look at the officials and said, "Everyone must be thinking, isn't it just a dream? What is there to believe? But I want to tell you that this is a dream from the ancestor. Even if it is not credible, you have to consider it carefully." "Ridiculous, this is too ridiculous." Marquis Qianwu roared with righteous indignation. Qin Feiyang changed the topic and said angrily, "You even dare to question the ancestor, blaspheme. Are you courting death?" Marquis Qianwu's body trembled. This was a serious crime, and hurriedly said, "I don't dare to blaspheme the previous emperor, but who knows if your dream is real or fake? Only I know about dreams. Of course I can't verify whether it is real or fake. But we don't know if Zhuge Mingyang has any disloyalty. Therefore, I suggest that Zhuge Mingyang's succession of the marquis title be postponed for the time being. I wonder if anyone has any objections. If there is, don't hesitate to say it. After all, I, Qin Feiyang, am a very democratic person. I respect everyone's opinion." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Democracy, respect. Hearing this, many people snorted in their hearts, but no one dared to show it. Because they didn't want to follow in the footsteps of the Zhuge family. Zhuge Mingyang could no longer hold back the anger in his heart. He stared at Qin Feiyang and roared. Don't go too far. How can such a kind person like me bully you? I'm doing this for the sake of the great Qin, and for your own good. Because everyone is now wondering if you have any ulterior motives. So I have to investigate as soon as possible and prove your innocence. Moreover, if you really don't have any disloyalty, then the Marquis title will be yours sooner or later. What are you afraid of? Qin Feiyang teased. Zhuge Mingyang said angrily. Who said I'm afraid? You're just spouting nonsense. Qin Feiyang laughed. There's a good saying, if you don't do anything wrong, you won't be afraid of ghosts knocking on your door. Since you're not afraid, then cooperate with my investigation. Don't try to twist words. Who do you think you are? Why should I cooperate with you? Zhuge Mingyang was unable to restrain his anger. Seeing that the situation was not good, the state preceptor shouted. Shut up. Zhuge Mingyang was not convinced. He looked at the state preceptor and said angrily. Lord State Preceptor, this is the throne room. You're just going to let him mess around like this? Stupid. Can't you see that Qin Feiyang is setting a trap for you? He wants to provoke you on purpose, make you lose your mind, and say those things you shouldn't say, understand? The state preceptor shouted. Hearing this, Zhuge Mingyang's eyes trembled slightly. He looked at Qin Feiyang gloomily and said, I, Zhuge Mingyang, have a clear conscience. You can say whatever you want. Qin Feiyang glanced at the state preceptor. As expected, the older the ginger, the spicier it was. He had seen through his scheme so quickly, and woke up Zhuge Mingyang. Qin Feiyang looked at the civil and military officials and said impatiently, all of you say something. I propose to postpone Zhuge Mingyang's succession as the Martial Marquis. Do you have any objections? Marquis Xiao's eyes flashed and said, this Marquis agrees to postpone it. Heard of it? The state preceptor and Zhuge Mingyang immediately looked at Marquis Xiao, the killing intent in their hearts unprecedentedly strong. Marquis Qianwu raised his eyebrows and said angrily, Marquis Xiao, what do you mean? Could it be that you have already been bribed by Qin Feiyang? Impudent. Is this something a Marquis dares to say? Marquis Xiao glared at Marquis Qianwu. Marquis Qianwu said indifferently, this Marquis is only voicing the doubts in my heart. What a joke. Before Qin Feiyang appeared, this Marquis had already said that Zhuge Mingyang had ulterior motives. So this Marquis only agreed with his own point of view, and has nothing to do with Qin Feiyang. If you continue to spread rumors that this Marquis is colluding with Qin Feiyang, then this Marquis has reason to suspect that you are the same as Zhuge Mingyang, and also have ulterior motives towards the great Qin. Marquis Xiao said. You. Marquis Qianwu was so angry that he was actually bitten back. All right, the two of you stop arguing. Since everyone can't agree on this matter, then let's discuss it later. Let me first talk about the second dream that the ancestor gave me. Qin Feiyang said. Everyone couldn't help but frown. What kind of trick was this kid playing now? Especially the state preceptor. At this moment, there was an indescribable sense of irritation in his heart. Qin Feiyang laughed. This second dream is related to some martial marquis. The various martial marquis immediately became nervous. The ancestor told me that recently, there have been some martial marquis who have been very dishonest. They are clearly taking our great Qin's salary, but they colluded with some old bastard and colluded with him. Qin Feiyang swept his gaze across the group of martial marquis with a playful expression. The group of martial marquis, other than Marquis Xiao, were all somewhat flustered, because they all knew who the old bastard Qin Feiyang was talking about was. And during this period of time, they had more or less interacted with the state preceptor. Of course, the ones who were the most flustered were Marquis Qianwu and the other four, because they had already sided with the state preceptor. Marquis Xiao glanced at the state preceptor, and a cold smile flashed across his eyes. Looking at Qin Feiyang, he pretended to be confused and said, Qin Feiyang, can you speak more clearly? We don't understand. All right, I'll make it clearer. As a martial marquis of the great Qin Empire, who should you be loyal to? Naturally, You should be loyal to the great Qin and His Majesty the White Sky. But some people have made the wrong choice and pledged their loyalty to an old bastard. Marquis Qianwu, Marquis Anwu, Marquis Mo, Marquis Chiwu, Marquis Gawu. The 5 of you are the most senior marquis in my great Qin. Why don't you answer me? How should I deal with such a marquis? Chapter 14:16. Marquis Qianwu and the other 4 who were called out immediately panicked. What are you panicking for? Could it be that the ancestors' dream is true? And those dishonest martial marquis are you? Qin Feiyang looked at the 5 of them suspiciously. Don't spout nonsense. Our loyalty to great Qin, to His Majesty White Sky, is witnessed by the heavens and earth. The 5 of them glared at Qin Feiyang angrily and said. Qin Feiyang said impatiently. Then tell me, how should we deal with those martial marquis who are not loyal to great Qin and His Majesty White Sky? Marquis Qianwu said. If there really is such a person, he should immediately be stripped of his position as a martial marquis. Wrong. Qin Feiyang shook his head. What's wrong? Marquis Qianwu frowned. Towards these disloyal and unjust martial marquis. Only by killing them without mercy will we be able to uphold the imperial court and enforce the law. Qin Feiyang said word by word, killing intent surging in his eyes. Before he could finish, Thunder Leopard, Seahorse Seal Wang Yangfeng, and Wang Yishan appeared out of thin air. Impudent. The imperial tutor had always been paying attention to Qin Feiyang, because he knew that Qin Feiyang would definitely cause a ruckus today. So when he saw Thunder Leopard, the other 2 beasts and Wang Yishan appear, he realized that something was wrong and immediately attacked Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang ignored him, pointed at Marquis Qianwu and the other 4 and shouted, Kill them all! Old thing, this emperor has long disliked you. Die. Lei Bao looked at Marquis Qianwu and laughed, then turned into a bolt of lightning and flew over like lightning. Seahorse, Wang Yishan, and Wang Yangfeng also immediately charged towards Marquis Anwu and the other 3. Seeing this situation, the other marquis, ministers, and Zhuge Mingyang all ran outside, as if they were running for their lives. Marquis Qianwu and the other 4 also wanted to escape, but would Thunder Leopard, the other 2 beasts, and Wang Yangfeng give them a chance? Obviously not. Lord Imperial Tutor, save us! The 5 of them desperately called for help from the Imperial Tutor. The State Preceptor rushed towards Qin Feiyang and roared, Tell them to stop, or don't blame me for being merciless. Whoosh! But suddenly, an old figure appeared in front of the Imperial Tutor, without any warning. It was Old Man Qin. As soon as Old Man Qin appeared, he struck out with his palm. The Imperial Preceptor was caught off guard. Even though his cultivation was higher than Old Man Qin's, he still suffered a great loss. His entire body was sent flying and crashed into the wall beside the dragon throne. With a loud bang, a large hole was instantly created in the wall. Meanwhile, under the thunderous attacks of the Thunder Leopard, and Wang Yangfeng, Marquis Qianwu's group of 5 died on the spot without any suspense. Dead. It's not enough to kill Zhuge Wu Ho. He actually killed another 5 martial marquis. Too presumptuous. Is there no one who can control him? The marquises, ministers, Kirin army, and Zhuge Mingyang standing outside were all dumbfounded. This bastard had no regard for the law. One had to know that this was still in the throne room. Done. Thunder Leopard, and Wang Yangfeng returned to Qin Feiyang's side and laughed. Well done. Qin Feiyang nodded. Old Man Qin also retreated to Qin Feiyang's side and said in a low voice, killing Qianwu Marquis and the others in front of him. The Imperial Preceptor will definitely go crazy. Sure enough, it was as expected. Just as Old Man Qin finished speaking, the Imperial Preceptor's angry roar sounded out. Qin Feiyang, even if you want to release that video, this Imperial Preceptor will not let you off today. Boom! A terrifying divine might erupted, causing the entire throne room to shake violently and immediately begin to collapse. Whiz! Following closely, the Imperial Preceptor rushed out of the hole like a crazed beast, charging towards Qin Feiyang's group. Quick! Old Man Qin urged. At this moment, the Imperial Preceptor gave off a great sense of fear. Qin Feiyang did not dare to hesitate, and immediately prepared to bring everyone into the castle. But at this moment his expression changed drastically, because he suddenly realized that the little prince was still sitting on the dragon throne. Moreover, the roof of the hall had already collapsed, and a huge beam was smashing towards the little prince. The little prince had just started cultivating, and with his weak body, if he was hit, there was no doubt that his blood would splatter on the spot. However, the furious imperial preceptor was completely unaware of the little prince's current danger. Of course, with the imperial preceptor's current state, even if he saw the little prince's situation, he might not necessarily care. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent Thunder Leopard, and Wang Yongfeng to the ancient tower. Then he rushed towards the little prince like lightning and roared, "Old man Qin, stop him!" Qin Feiyang's sudden action puzzled old man Qin, but when he saw the little prince, he immediately understood, and immediately rushed towards the imperial preceptor. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyang rushed to the little prince's side and smashed the beam with his palm. He lowered his head and glared at the little prince, shouting, "Why didn't you leave just now? Do you want to die?" The little prince did not say a word and only looked at him coldly. Qin Feiyang could not help but feel helpless. He picked up the little prince and turned into a ray of light. He smashed the roof of the hall with his fist and rushed up into the sky. Boom! The divine might of old man Qin and the imperial preceptor shocked everyone. Figures continued to soar into the sky and looked towards the imperial palace. It's Qin Feiyang. What is he doing? Did he kidnap Emperor Hao Tian? Heavens, what is he trying to do? No matter what, Emperor Hao Tian is still his younger brother. How can he be so heartless? Looking at the little prince in Qin Feiyang's hand, everyone immediately roared with righteous indignation. It's the young lord. He really has broken through to the 4-star combat emperor realm. Damn it, this speed is too heaven-defying. At the same time, among the crowd, there were 8 young men and women. It was Wang Zicheng and the others. At this moment, they looked at Qin Feiyang from afar with disbelief. After the 2 continents were connected, there were now many people from the Forgotten Continent in the imperial city. Of course, in the Central Divine Kingdom's divine city, there were also many people from Great Qin. It's really Qin Feiyang. This bastard is indeed a star of calamity. Wherever he goes, he brings disaster. However, I'm afraid he won't be able to escape this time. Is there even a need to say that? The Mu family, the main pagoda, Great Qin, and the mysterious madam are all looking for him. When they receive the news and rush over, even if this bastard has heaven-defying abilities, only death awaits him. Everyone was discussing. No matter if it was Great Qin's people or Forgotten Continent's people, they all had a gloating attitude. However, Qin Feiyang did not have the time to care about all of this. He looked nervously at the imperial palace below. Boom! Suddenly, old man Qin flew out of the throne room like a meteor and smashed into a large hall several li away. Following a loud explosion, a huge crater appeared in the ground. The surrounding palaces also collapsed one after another. Countless palace maids and eunuchs were affected. Qin Feiyang's heart sank. He did not expect old Qin to be injured so easily by the imperial tutor. The gap between the peak of the semi-divinity realm and the semi-divinity realm was too big. Qin Feiyang, you son of a bitch, I'll definitely kill you today. Following a furious roar, the imperial tutor rushed into the sky with a monstrous aura. Boom! The shattered imperial palace also completely collapsed, turning into ruins. The throne room was once again destroyed because of Qin Feiyang. Can't that bastard stop for a bit? Isn't that right? It was fine in the past, because there were no people from the Forgotten Continent. However, with so many outsiders watching, isn't he embarrassing Great Qin? Don't wash your dirty linen in public. He's really embarrassing us. Everyone was indignant, and their expressions were filled with disgust for Qin Feiyang. However, why did Qin Feiyang do this? Wasn't it to protect Great Qin and them? They did not know anything. So what right did they have to criticize Qin Feiyang? I didn't expect young master's situation to be so bad in Great Qin. Yeah. It's worse than when he was on the Forgotten Continent. It's really hard on him. He has to protect Great Qin while being cursed by Great Qin's people. If it were me, I would have already turned on him. However, he silently endured it. Who can understand the pain in his heart? Wang Zicheng and the others could not help but sigh inwardly, although they did not know the real situation. Based on their understanding of Qin Feiyang, it was not difficult to guess that Qin Feiyang did this for the sake of great Qin. Qin Feiyang. The imperial tutor flew into the sky and charged towards Qin Feiyang immediately. The killing intent in his eyes was undisguised. Feiyang, run! Old Qin rushed out of the deep crater. Seeing the situation, his expression changed and he anxiously roared. Qin Feiyang glanced at old Qin and smiled coldly at the imperial tutor. He was about to put down the little prince and enter the ancient castle. However, at this moment, a strong sense of danger rose in his heart. Immediately after, he felt a tearing pain in his lower abdomen. He lowered his head and saw that a dagger had appeared in the little prince's hand at some point in time. The dagger was very short, only about half a foot long. It was like a toy knife, but it was very sharp. The tip of the dagger had already pierced through Qin Feiyang's lower abdomen. Qin Feiyang immediately frowned. He raised his other arm and snatched the dagger from the little prince's hand. Although the little prince's actions were unexpected, the dagger did not pierce through his qi. However, Qin Feiyang's expression darkened. He lowered his head to look at the little prince. The little prince also raised his head and looked at Qin Feiyang. There was no fear on his tender little face. The imperial tutor, old Qin, and the surrounding civil and military officials were stunned on the spot when they saw this scene. They didn't expect that the little prince would attack Qin Feiyang. But then, everyone couldn't help but become nervous. Because they all knew Qin Feiyang too well. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. For Qin Feiyang, anyone who wanted to harm him, he would not let them go. The first prince and the others in the past were the best examples. Feiyang, don't be impulsive, old Qin murmured. His palms were sweating. He was afraid that Qin Feiyang's slap would end the little prince's life. After the imperial tutor came back to his senses, his eyes flickered. Qin Feiyang, stop. Suddenly, Emperor Hong's voice came from afar. Emperor Hong was like a bolt of lightning, tearing through the sky. In less than 3 breaths, he had arrived in front of Qin Feiyang. But Qin Feiyang ignored him. He lowered his head and stared at the little prince with a cold light in his eyes. Emperor Hong was also extremely nervous. He is your younger brother after all. And he is young and ignorant. Why do you have to bother with him? Let him go. Take it as great-grandfather begging you. Great-grandfather? Chapter 14:17. It could be said. Qin Feiyang did not hold back when he said those words. In front of so many people, being ridiculed like this in front of everyone, Emperor Hong also had a face full of shame, unable to show his face. What is it? Nothing to say? Qin Feiyang sneered. Emperor Hong said, this old man doesn't care what you say, as long as you can let Haoyin go. You care about him that much? Qin Feiyang was startled, then grinned and said, then do you know that what I like to do the most is to destroy the things that others care about the most? You dare? Emperor Hong immediately glared at him. Do you think I don't dare? Qin Feiyang chuckled, playing with the dagger that the little prince had used to attack him. The sharp blade gleamed with a cold light. Emperor Hong's body and mind tightened, and he hurriedly said, don't hurt him, this old man. I beg you. Ugh. Qin Feiyang was stunned and said, what did you say? Say it again. I didn't hear it clearly just now. Emperor Hong stared at Qin Feiyang, clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. This old man begs you. Haha. Qin Feiyang laughed out loud. He actually put down his pride to beg him? If it was in private, with only the two of them, it would be fine. But now there were a lot of people looking at them. Wasn't this old fellow afraid that he would become the laughing stock of everyone in the future? I beg you. Emperor Hong opened his mouth again, his eyes bloodshot. As the son of the Qin emperor, and also the second-generation emperor who ruled the great Qin, he was also Qin Feiyang's great-grandfather. But now, he was so humble in front of Qin Feiyang. It could be imagined that he did not feel good in his heart. But at this moment, he had no choice but to endure it. Originally, I was quite angry, but looking at your funny face, I feel much better. All right. Seeing that you are so sincere, I will return the little prince to you. But I have a condition, Qin Feiyang said. Speak. Emperor Hong said. Before entering the divine site, you and the imperial advisor are not allowed to do anything to me or the people around me. As Qin Feiyang spoke, he pointed to old man Qin in the distance and added, including him. Lord Emperor Hong, you can't agree to it. The imperial preceptor's expression changed as he hurriedly said, if you don't agree to his conditions, do you have any other way to save Hao Yan from him? Emperor Hong was inwardly vexed. Looking at Qin Feiyang, he nodded and said, this old man promises you. Don't go back on your word. Qin Feiyang said. Emperor Hong said in a deep voice, with so many people watching and listening, this old man can't afford to lose this face. That's true. Qin Feiyang nodded. He lowered his head to look at the little prince and said, grow up quickly, because with your current ability, you can't even get close to me, let alone avenge your mother. One day, I will personally send you to hell. The little prince enunciated each word clearly. Your courage is commendable, but it depends on whether or not you have the strength. Qin Feiyang laughed disdainfully, then picked up the little prince and threw him to Emperor Hong. Emperor Hong hurriedly extended his hands and caught the little prince. He asked with concern, are you all right, child? I'm fine. The little prince shook his head. It's good that you're fine. Emperor Hong heaved a sigh of relief. With a light wave of his hand, the little prince landed safely on the ground. A group of Kirin army immediately surrounded him and carefully protected him. The imperial preceptor looked at Emperor Hong and said, my lord, you have to think twice. Not only did he kidnap the little prince, he also killed 5 martial marquis in the imperial court. Kidnap? Qin Feiyang laughed coldly, looked at the imperial preceptor and said, if I hadn't saved him, he would have been smashed to death by the beam. I would like to ask, what were you doing at that time? Have you ever worried about his safety? That was also caused by you. If you didn't have people kill Qianwu Marquis and the others, would Imperial Preceptor be so angry? To the point of losing his mind? The Imperial Preceptor coldly snorted. Qin Feiyang said, so to say saving him is still my fault? The Imperial Preceptor laughed sinisterly. It was your fault to begin with. Emperor Hong asked, which martial marquis did he kill? The Imperial Preceptor looked at Emperor Hong and said truthfully, Qianwu Marquis, Anwu Marquis, Emowu Marquis, Gewu Marquis, Chiwu Marquis, all the civil and military officials can testify. How preposterous! Emperor Hong was furious. With a wave of his hand, a vast and mighty pressure surged out and enveloped Qin Feiyang in an instant. Old man Qin's expression changed as he roared. Emperor Hong, you are the son of the previous emperor. Just now, you personally agreed to Qin Feiyang's conditions. I hope you can take care of your face and be a man of your word. You've already made this old man lose all his face. Would this old man still care? Moreover, this boy held the Son of Heaven hostage, killed loyal people, and committed all kinds of evil. If this old man continues to ignore it, how will the world talk about this old man behind his back? They will definitely say that this old man cares about family ties, bends the law for personal gain, and covers up and connives at Qin Feiyang. This crime is even greater. This old man doesn't want to be a sinner for all eternity. Therefore, this old man will place righteousness before family today and get rid of this malignant tumor, returning peace to great Qin. Emperor Hong said, his words righteous and awe-inspiring. Well said. The imperial preceptor praised. That's right. This kind of evil person should be eliminated as soon as possible. Lord Emperor Hong, we all support you. The entire Great Qin's people also support you. Some martial marquis also roared, filled with righteous indignation. Emperor Hong looked at them one by one, his old face full of gratification. Following that, he looked at old man Qin and shouted, did you see that? Qin Feiyang's actions these few years have long aroused public indignation. If this old man doesn't kill him today, how will I account to the world? Old man Qin lamented. Lord Emperor Hong, the older you get, the more muddle-headed you become. Preposterous, you still dare to humiliate this old man. You colluded with Qin Feiyang, plotted to usurp the throne. Your crime is also unforgivable. Imperial Preceptor, immediately arrest him. If he dares to resist, execute him on the spot. Emperor Hong roared. Yes. The imperial preceptor responded respectfully, turned to look at Old Man Qin, and said with a cold smile, Old man, today is your doomsday. Boom. Finished speaking. Divine might surged out, charging towards Old Man Qin. Haha. My dignified great Qin actually doesn't have a reasonable person. Letting wolves rule the road. How lamentable. Great Qin is not far from destruction. Old Man Qin raised his head and laughed wildly, incomparably sorrowful. Deceiving the public with lies, damn it. A strong killing intent flashed in the imperial preceptor's eyes. Bastard. This old man won't let you continue to be so insolent. Today, even if my body is smashed to pieces, this old man will drag you down to hell together. Old Man Qin smiled sinisterly, his divine might erupting with a bang, carrying a sense of determination as he faced the imperial preceptor. Old Man Qin, what are you going to do? Qin Feiyang said in shock and anger. Don't worry about me if there's a chance, run away. But you have to promise me, after you become strong, you must pacify the chaos of Great Qin and protect the rivers and mountains left behind by the previous emperor. If someone dares to stir up trouble, even if it's a relative whose blood is thicker than water, please don't show mercy. Old Man Qin roared. This sentence was already very obvious. This family whose blood was thicker than water was undoubtedly referring to Emperor Hong, and the emperor these people. Old Man Qin was a person who valued friendship and righteousness. To be able to make him harden his heart to say these words, it could be seen how disappointed he was with Emperor Hong at this moment. I will. Qin Feiyang said silently, then looked at Emperor Hong and said, Cancer? Righteousness over family? You're really good. Cut the crap. This old man will send you on your way now. Emperor Hong shouted coldly, took a step forward, and mercilessly slapped towards Qin Feiyang's head. On the other side, State Preceptor and Old Man Qin also collided. Old bastard, die with this old man. Old Man Qin laughed sinisterly. A destructive aura rushed out of his body, and the void immediately shattered crazily. This, State Preceptor's body stiffened, and he immediately turned around to flee, roaring. Emperor Hong, he's going to self-destruct, run. What? Self-destruct? Emperor Hong's body and mind trembled. How could he have thought that Old Man Qin would actually do such a crazy thing? False god self-destruct. Even if he was a supreme existence of the peak false god realm, it would be difficult to escape death. This was not the main point. The main point was that once Old Man Qin self-destructed, the entire imperial palace and imperial city would instantly be reduced to ashes. No one here would be spared, and they would all die. Old Man Qin, I'm sorry I caused your death. If I didn't have to save the little prince, how could you fall to such a state? Qin Feiyang closed his eyes in pain, 2 drops of tears silently falling from the corner of his eyes. False god is going to self-destruct. Everyone run. At the same time, whether it was the imperial palace, the temple, or the major cities, they were all in a panic at this moment. Everyone scrambled to open the teleportation gate and escape. False god self-destruct? Damn it, this is a bit too much. Wang Zicheng's group of 8 also fled at the sight of the wind. Never would they have thought that the situation would become so serious. Humph. However, at this moment, above the imperial palace, a cold snort suddenly sounded. As the people fled, they hurriedly glanced around and found that it was a mysterious man in white. His figure was tall and imposing, and his entire body exuded an astonishing aura. It was not difficult to determine that he should be a young man. However, he wore a white mask on his face, covering his true appearance. No one knew who he was. However, sensing this person's aura, Qin Feiyang immediately became spirited and transmitted. Old Man Qin, there is a turning point, don't self-destruct. However, Old Man Qin turned a deaf ear. Qin Feiyang anxiously shouted, if you self-destruct now, you may not be able to kill the imperial advisor. Don't die in vain. You are a loyal person of my great Qin. I don't want you to die, and I don't want you to lose your life for a damn old bastard. It's not worth it. Old Man Qin's body trembled slightly, and suddenly woke up. He quickly stopped self-destructing, and that destructive aura also retreated like a tide. and stopped self-destructing. Everyone was surprised. The imperial advisor also stopped and looked at Old Man Qin suspiciously. Emperor Hong's brows also tightened. But the next moment, everyone raised their heads in unison and looked at the masked man in white. As soon as this person appeared, Old Man Qin stopped self-destructing. It was enough to see that this person was definitely related to Qin Feiyang, and might even be the reinforcements that Qin Feiyang had found. It's really a false alarm. However, the people of Forgotten Continent said, "You haven't seen her before, but you must have heard of her name." "What name?" The people of Great Qin were bewildered. "Mysterious Madam," the people of Forgotten Continent said. "What? She is the Mysterious Madam? What is she doing here again? Could it be that she's here to settle the score with Qin Feiyang?" "Wait. The main pagoda and Qin Feiyang also have a deep grudge. Could it be that she's also taking the opportunity to kill Qin Feiyang?" Everyone whispered to each other, discussing animatedly. High up in the sky, Wang Su looked at the Mysterious Madam, a cold light flashing in his eyes. The Mysterious Madam said, "You'd better not look at me like that again, or else I'll dig out your eyeballs and feed them to the dogs." So arrogant. Even the senior figures of the main pagoda are not in their eyes. They are indeed as lawless as the rumors say. People muttered. "Humph." Wang Su snorted through his nose, turned around and swooped down, flying towards the place where Qin Feiyang and the others were. The Mysterious Madam smiled contemptuously and flew down as well. Not good. Last time in the Endless Sea, young master set a trap for the main pagoda and the Mysterious Madam and stole the God Crystal. They definitely won't let this go. Wang Zicheng frowned. "That's right. And I also received news that the main pagoda master and the imperial tutor are colluding to kill young master together." The black monkey said in a deep voice. "Sigh. Indeed, before the first wave has subsided, another wave has risen. Young master's situation will probably be even more dangerous than before." The 8 of them were all worried. They really wanted to help. But facing the main pagoda, the Mysterious Madam, and a colossus like Great Qin, they wanted to help but were powerless. At the same time, seeing the Mysterious Madam and Wang Su appear one after another, Qin Feiyang's heart sank. Let's not talk about Wang Su first. Let's talk about the Mysterious Madam. He understood this woman quite well. She was a person who would not take revenge. The most important thing was, behind this woman, in addition to the teacher of the myths of the Dragon Phoenix House, there was also a peak false god that even Mu Changyan was afraid of. Swish. Wang Su and the Mysterious Madam descended one after another. The Mysterious Madam immediately looked at Qin Feiyang, the anger in her eyes undisguised. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but panic in his heart, and said, "Big cousin, this woman is not a good person, let's retreat." Lu Jiaji nodded, but the Mysterious Madam knew Qin Feiyang too well, and instantly saw through Qin Feiyang's plan, and said coldly, "Boy, if you dare to move, I will slaughter the people of Great Qin." Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. He never doubted what the Mysterious Madam said. The imperial tutor looked at Qin Feiyang coldly and said, "Emperor Hong, the situation has reversed and it's on our side." "What do you mean?" Emperor Hong was surprised. The main tower and that woman have a deep hatred with Qin Feiyang, and they also have a grudge with the Mu family. So I concluded that they must have come to help us this time. The imperial tutor secretly said. "That's really good news." Emperor Hong was overjoyed. Looking at the Mysterious Madam and Wang Su, he cupped his hands and said with a smile, "This old man is the son of the Qin Emperor Qin Hong." The Mysterious Madam glanced at Emperor Hong and said, "Since you are the son of the Qin Emperor, you are also Qin Feiyang's elder, but why did you make such a fuss?" "It's a long story. These years, he has done evil things in the Great Qin, but this old man couldn't bear to do anything to him. But he turned this old man's patience into capital. This time, it's even more excessive. Not only did he kidnap the emperor, but he also killed 5 of my Great Qin's marquis, causing the anger of both men and gods. This old man couldn't help it, so he hardened his heart and planned to put justice before family. But who would have thought that he actually had so many henchmen?" The existence of this child is really a shame of my great Qin. Emperor Hong sighed. This Qin Feiyang really deserves to die. The mysterious madam nodded, killing intent flashing in her eyes. Seeing this, Emperor Hong and the imperial tutor were relieved. Wang Su and the mysterious madam were here to kill Qin Feiyang. But at the same time, hearing Emperor Hong's words, old man Qin was unable to restrain his anger and roared. Emperor Hong, please touch your conscience when you speak. The one who should touch your conscience and repent is you. You are the pillar of my great Qin, but you are in cahoots with Qin Feiyang. Are you worthy of our trust in you? Emperor Hong rebuked angrily. Old man Qin was mad with hatred. Qin Feiyang reached out to hold old man Qin down and comforted him. Don't talk nonsense with him, it's useless. The imperial tutor sneered. Qin Feiyang, you didn't expect that the situation would change so quickly. Qin Feiyang glanced at the imperial tutor, looked at the mysterious madam and Wang Su and said, I will find a time to settle the grudges between you and me in the future. But for now, please don't interfere in the matters here. Who do you think you are? If you tell me not to interfere, I won't interfere? The mysterious madam sneered. Wang Su did not speak, but his old face was filled with killing intent. Qin Feiyang's face was gloomy. The atmosphere at the scene gradually became solemn. Emperor Hong glanced at the three of them, his eyes flashing slightly, and said to the imperial tutor, How is the strength behind Wang Su and the mysterious madam? Very strong. According to my inquiries, there are 3 false gods in the main tower, and the mysterious madam herself is a false god, and there is a peak false god behind her. The imperial tutor said. Emperor Hong thought. Then with us we can definitely fight with Qin Feiyang and the others? Yes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And if we kill Qin Feiyang now, we can also snatch the 3 kinds of pill fire from him. The imperial tutor thought, his killing intent rising. Chapter 1419. Emperor Hong's heart skipped a beat. If he could snatch all 3 types of pill fire from Qin Feiyang's body, then this time Great Qin would have 3,000 people enter the miracle. Thinking of this, Emperor Hong's eyes flashed with killing intent as he shouted, Do it! The imperial preceptor had been waiting impatiently for a long time. Hearing Emperor Hong's words, he immediately attacked towards Qin Feiyang. Really stubborn. Lu Xingqian smiled coldly and waved his hand. Mu Chongyun, who was standing behind him, immediately rushed out and slammed his palm towards the imperial preceptor. Boom! The 2 of them each retreated a few feet, and then took a step into the sky. Without saying a word, they began to fight at the top of the clouds. Emperor Hong looked at Wang Su and the mysterious madam, cupped his hands and said, The 2 of you, since we are already allies, then I ask the 2 of you to quickly return and invite the experts around you to kill these black sheep. Finished. Emperor Hong waved his hand, and the power of the false god rolled out, carrying a world-destroying aura as it pounced towards Qin Feiyang's group. Lu Jejin's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he shouted, Old Qin, accept the challenge. Old Qin nodded. Boom! The 2 of them attacked at the same time. 2 waves of false god power emerged, like 2 huge waves, sweeping through the sky and colliding with Emperor Hong's false god power. Puff! Old Qin and Lu Jejin immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, staggered, and kept retreating. Qin Feiyang's heart sank. Lu Jejin had just broken through to the false god realm, so he was definitely not Emperor Hong's opponent. As for Old Qin, although he was a veteran false god, compared to Emperor Hong, who was at the peak of the false god realm, he was still far from it. Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Xingqian and said, It seems that you have to go back and call Mu Changfeng to help. Lu Xingqian glanced at Emperor Hong, then looked up at Mu Changyan and the imperial preceptor, who were fighting at the top of the clouds. He waved his hand and smiled. No need. And Qin Feiyang was bewildered. Lu Xingqian said, Actually, Mu Changfeng has always been by my side. Just now, when I told Mu Changyan to go back and call him, it was purely to tease the imperial advisor and Emperor Hong. Ugh! Qin Feiyang was stunned. Had he always been by Lu Xingqian's side? Why didn't he see Mu Changfeng? But very soon, Qin Feiyang was suddenly enlightened. Mu Chafeng should be in Lu Xingchen's spatial divine item. Emperor Hong repelled Old Man Qin and Lu Jiajin with one move, and his confidence immediately soared. Looking at Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen, he said proudly, "As long as I don't give you the chance to call Mu Changfeng over, with this old man's and Imperial Preceptor's abilities, it's enough to kill all of you." "Really?" Lu Xingchen smiled playfully. Before he finished speaking, an old man appeared in front of Lu Xingchen out of thin air. Who else could it be but Mu Changfeng? Sure enough, he's inside the spatial divine item. Qin Feiyang muttered, "How is this possible?" Emperor Hong's face was filled with disbelief. Lu Xingchen sneered. "I, Lu Xingchen, have never done anything that I am not sure of. Since I will bring Mu Changyin here, I will naturally bring Mu Changfeng along as well." Emperor Hong said in shock and anger. "Then before, why did you let Mu Changyin go back?" "I was just teasing you. Did you really take it seriously?" Lu Xingchen laughed mockingly, looked at Mu Changfeng and said indifferently, "You know what to do." Mu Changfeng nodded, looked at Emperor Hong and said, "A father's debt is repaid by a son. Today, you will pay for the sins your father committed." Boom. After he finished speaking, a monstrous killing intent shot out from Mu Changfeng's eyes. "Damn it!" Emperor Hong cursed, raised his head to look at Wang Su and the mysterious lady and roared, "What are you still standing there for? Go back and call for help." However, whether it was Wang Su or the mysterious lady, they were both indifferent, as if they didn't hear anything. "What's going on?" Emperor Hong was bewildered. Qin Feiyang also looked at the two of them suspiciously. The mysterious lady glanced at Qin Feiyang, looked down at Emperor Hong condescendingly, and said indifferently, "Who said I would make a move?" Emperor Hong was taken aback and said, "Don't you have a grudge with Qin Feiyang?" The mysterious lady said contemptuously, "I do have a grudge with Qin Feiyang, but I didn't say that I would help you kill him. It's you who thinks you're smart, who thinks that I'm your ally." For a moment, Emperor Hong's mind was in a mess. At the same time, when the imperial advisor heard the mysterious lady's words, his face also changed. How could this be? An uneasy premonition arose in his heart. He hurriedly pushed Mu Changyin away with his palm and landed beside the imperial advisor. He looked at the mysterious lady and said, "You're not here to kill Qin Feiyang. Then what are you here for?" "Me." The corner of the mysterious lady's mouth lifted and said, "I'm here to protect him." "What?" Emperor Hong and the imperial advisor were dumbstruck. In the distance, Wang Zicheng and the rest also looked at each other. Qin Feiyang himself also had a look of astonishment. Lu Xingchen, Mu Changyin, Mu Changfeng, and Wang Su also had faces full of astonishment. Clearly, they did not expect that this woman was actually here to protect Qin Feiyang, especially Wang Su and Lu Xingchen, three people, because they all knew that Qin Feiyang had snatched the divine crystal from the mysterious lady's hands in the endless sea. Logically speaking, with the mysterious lady's personality, she would definitely find Qin Feiyang to settle the score. Even a false god, or even a war god, will lose their lives if they're not careful. The mysterious madam said in a deep voice. Even a war god will die. Qin Feiyang and the others were dumbfounded. This was too terrifying. Old Man Qin asked. Then in the divine ruin, is there a passage between the second and first level? Yes. But this passage can only allow people from the first level to enter the second level. If people from the second level enter the first level, they will be bombarded by the thunder tribulation. Back then, Qin the Arch wanted to force his way into the first level because of someone, and he almost died under the thunder tribulation. The mysterious madam said. Qin Feiyang curiously asked, who is worth the ancestor taking such a risk? The mysterious madam raised her eyebrows and said, does it have anything to do with you? Qin Feiyang was stunned and said helplessly, I'm just asking out of curiosity. Is there a need to have such a big reaction? But after saying that, he was stunned and pondered for a moment. Then he looked up at the mysterious madam and asked, that person can't be you, right? Me. How is that possible? The mysterious madam said expressionlessly, but Qin Feiyang caught two blushes on both sides of her cheeks. What's going on? Could it be that this woman has something to do with the ancestor? Qin Feiyang's mind suddenly spun rapidly. He remembered that at the beginning, the mysterious madam tried every means to kill him. But later on, it was as if she had suddenly changed into a different person. Not only did she take care of him, she even gave him a large number of perfect battle arts. She even helped him train Fatso and the others. With the mysterious madam's temper and personality, she definitely wouldn't suddenly change. But why was that? Qin Feiyang began to recall. Scenes from the past kept flashing through his mind. Suddenly, his body trembled as he raised his head to look at the mysterious madam. The mysterious madam frowned and said, "Why are you looking at me?" Qin Feiyang said, "If I remember correctly, it seems that after you found out my true identity, your attitude towards me began to improve. I can't remember anything that happened so long ago." The mysterious madam looked flustered and pretended to be calm. "Hee. Senior, what is your relationship with my ancestor?" Qin Feiyang said with a sneaky smile. The mysterious madam's change must be related to the ancestor, because there was no other explanation. The mysterious madam's face darkened and said, "It's nothing, we just met a few times." "Really? Then why did you blush just now?" "Senior, it's normal to like someone. There's no need to hide it in your heart." The three of them walked up the steps. But at this time, Yanwei suddenly opened his hands, blocking Qin Feiyang and the other two, shouting, "You are not allowed to go in." He still had to act. After all, the imperial tutor was inside. Old Qin looked at Qin Feiyang. If it was before, he would definitely not hesitate to attack Yanwei. But now, he knew that Yanwei was one of Qin Feiyang's men. So before he made a move, he had to first ask for Qin Feiyang's opinion. Bear with it. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed as he secretly sent a message to Yanwei. Then, he took a step forward and slapped Yanwei's chest with his palm. "Ah!" With a blood-curdling scream. Yanwei was like a meteor, directly smashing through the door of the palace, and then smashing into the ground inside the main hall. The ground immediately shattered, creating a huge crater. The moment the imperial tutor and Emperor Hong heard the commotion, they immediately turned their heads to look at Qin Feiyang and the other two, their eyes flashing with a fierce light. Yanwei crawled up in a sorry state, ran to the imperial tutor's side and said, "Master, I'm sorry, I really can't stop them." The imperial tutor said, "Retreat to the side." "Yes." Yanwei respectfully replied and quickly retreated to the side. While glancing at Qin Feiyang and the other two and the imperial tutor, he rubbed his aching chest and pursed his lips into a mocking smile. Qin Feiyang stepped into the hall. Old Man Qin and Lu Jiajin followed behind Qin Feiyang, one on the left and one on the right, their eyes filled with vigilance. Emperor Hong stared at Qin Feiyang sinisterly and said, "This is the son of heaven's bedroom. No one is allowed to set foot in here, including you. Scram immediately." Qin Feiyang glanced at him indifferently, ignored him and scanned the hall. Soon, he was right behind Emperor Hong and Emperor Hong. He saw the little prince. The little prince was lying on the ground, his body dripping with blood. His small face was also deathly pale, and his life force was extremely weak. He couldn't even feel it. If one didn't observe carefully, no matter who it was, they would think that it was a corpse. Actually, the current little prince was no different from a corpse. "Get out of the way." Qin Feiyang took a step forward, landed in front of the two of them and shouted. The two of them were indifferent. Old Man Qin said angrily, "The little prince's life is at stake. If you don't get out of the way, I'm afraid there will be no hope." The two of them were bewildered. Old Man Qin said in a deep voice, "You didn't hear wrongly. We are here to save the little prince." The imperial tutor sneered. "Would you be so kind? I'm not in the mood to talk nonsense with you right now. Scram." Qin Feiyang enunciated each word clearly, his tone cold and bone-chilling. The killing intent in his heart also uncontrollably emerged. The imperial tutor was furious. Chapter 1426. Qin Feiyang looked at Emperor Hong and frowned. "What do you want to do?" "Let's talk in private," Emperor Hong asked. "Let's talk." The imperial tutor's heart trembled. Could it be that because Qin Feiyang saved the little prince, Emperor Hong's heart was moved? Qin Feiyang was also rather surprised and said, "What else is there to talk about between us?" Emperor Hong said, "The grudge between us is indeed very deep. But no matter what, you and I are both descendants of the Qin clan. There's no need to be so cold." Haha, a descendant of the Qin clan. Are you joking? If you really treated me as a descendant of the Qin clan, would you be so cruel to me? Cold. Compared to your indifference, what is this? Qin Feiyang laughed loudly, his eyes full of ridicule. Emperor Hong raised his eyebrows and said, "It won't take up too much of your time. All right. I'll treat it as respecting the old and loving the young," Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Looking at Qin Feiyang's arrogant and disrespectful attitude, Emperor Hong was rather annoyed and said, "Follow me." After saying that, he walked towards the second floor of the main hall. The imperial tutor immediately waved to Yin Wei and said, "Come over and take care of Emperor Hao Tian. I will accompany Lord Emperor Hong." Without waiting for Yin Wei's response, Emperor Hong waved his hand without even turning his head. "Taking care of Hao Tian is more important. There's no need to accompany me." But the imperial tutor's face was filled with worry. There's no buts. With this old man's strength, he doesn't dare to act rashly in front of this old man. Moreover, we're upstairs. If something really happens, it won't be too late for you to catch up when you hear the commotion. Emperor Hong said. All right. The imperial tutor nodded, feeling unwilling in his heart. Seeing all of this, Qin Feiyang and the other two couldn't help but smile at each other, then turned around and followed. On the second floor, in a guest hall. "Please sit." Emperor Hong stood in front of the main seat, looking at Qin Feiyang trio. Qin Feiyang said, "If you have something to say, just say it. Don't waste our time." Emperor Hong said angrily, "As a descendant of the younger generation, is this the attitude you should have?" "Attitude? I've already given you enough face by coming up here. I advise you not to push your luck and take advantage of your seniority," Qin Feiyang said in disgust. Emperor Hong clenched his fists, anger rising in his heart. "You're not going to tell me?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Who?" Emperor Hong took a deep breath and said, "First of all, this old man is very grateful to you for saving Hao Tian. There's no need. I saved him out of my own will. It has nothing to do with you," Qin Feiyang said. "Even so, I still have to thank you. Secondly, this old man wants to know why you didn't hesitate to use your flame of life to save him." Emperor Hong looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang frowned impatiently and said, "He's my younger brother, is that enough?" Emperor Hong was stunned and muttered, "Is it that simple?" Although he was muttering to himself, Qin Feiyang heard every word, and anger rose in his heart. "Otherwise, why do you think I saved him? Greedy for the power in his hands? Or the throne under his feet? Let me tell you, the human heart is not as complicated as you think. I saved him because we're brothers." Qin Feiyang snorted coldly. Saving someone, and being suspected of having bad intentions? How could there be such a laughable thing in this world? Seeing Qin Feiyang angry, Emperor Hong frowned and nodded. "All right, this old man will believe you for now. As long as I have a clear conscience, do I need you to believe me? Who do you think you are?" Qin Feiyang sneered. Facing the naked ridicule, Emperor Hong's anger rose from his heart, but in the end he endured it. He looked at old Qin and Lu Jiajin, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Can you let them leave first?" "No," Qin Feiyang said without any hesitation. His tone carried a tone that said there was no room for discussion. Emperor Hong fell silent. "Is there anything else?" "If there is, then say it quickly. My time is precious," Qin Feiyang said with a face full of irritation. "Yes." Emperor Hong nodded fiercely, looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "This old man has a request." "Speak," Qin Feiyang shouted, his patience reaching its limit. Emperor Hong said, "The miracle is about to open, but the 10 keys to open the miracle are all in the hands of you and the Mu family, so this old man hopes." At this point, Emperor Hong found it difficult to continue, and his expression was rather awkward. Qin Feiyang's face twitched and said jokingly, "You don't want me to give you a key, do you?" Emperor Hong hurriedly said, I don't want you to give it to me. This old man can spend a lot of money to buy it. There are countless opportunities hidden in the miracle. Can you afford it? Qin Feiyang looked at him playfully. Emperor Hong said, You can state your conditions. When he opened his mouth, he was already prepared to be slaughtered by Qin Feiyang. I'm sorry, although you are very sincere. In my opinion, there is nothing more valuable than these keys in this world. Besides, what you have I have. What you don't have I have too. What else do you have that can arouse my interest? If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Qin Feiyang smiled contemptuously and turned to walk outside. Stop. Let's put aside your identity for now and just talk about the fact that you received my father's inheritance. If my father didn't give you the inheritance and let your bloodline revert to its ancestor, would you have today's achievements? But what about you now? Just because of some trivial matter, you don't care about the interests of my great Qin. Is this how you repay your kindness? The fled emperor shouted with a stern expression. Qin Feiyang stopped in his tracks, and his 10 fingers gradually clenched. A person must have a conscience. You must know kindness and be grateful. Emperor Hong said again. That's enough. Being crippled by the calamity spirit pill and expelled from the imperial capital, is this a trivial matter? You slandered me in front of the civil and military officials and the people of the imperial capital for murdering the emperor and stealing the imperial jade seal. Is this a small matter? My mother suffered so much in the imperial palace. I relied on my own ability to walk out of the spiritual state step by step and return to the imperial capital. But you guys shouted at me to kill me. Is this a small matter? If this is a small matter in your eyes, then tell me, what is a big matter? Qin Feiyang suddenly turned around and stared at Emperor Hong. Emperor Hong said, This old man doesn't understand these things. This old man only knows that father has done you a favor, and you should repay it. Repay it, Qin Feiyang murmured, shook his head in amusement and said, If it weren't for the ancestor, do you think great Qin would still exist? Emperor Hong said, Is your hatred for us so strong? Yes, it is so strong. I once thought of destroying this empire that I hate with my own hands. But I didn't do so because the ancestor has done me a favor. So don't push your luck. Otherwise, I can't guarantee you the consequences. Qin Feiyang laughed coldly. Fine. This old man won't say much. Since you know how to repay the favor, then take out something practical. Don't play these empty games we can't see. Emperor Hong said. Haha. Qin Feiyang laughed in anger. What he had he could say is nothing. What was black he could say is white. The level of shamelessness of this old thing was truly beyond imagination. In the end, don't you just want the alchemy fire? All right. As long as you kneel in front of me and apologize to me, I'll give it to you immediately. Qin Feiyang said. In the past, no matter how much he had gone overboard, he would give Emperor Hong some face. But now, he didn't want to think about anything, as long as he could vent the anger in his heart. He had also thought it through. The other party didn't even treat him as a relative, so why should he care so much? Looking at Emperor Hong again, hearing Qin Feiyang's words, his old face immediately turned ugly to the extreme. You're not going to kneel, are you? Then I'm sorry. Even if I throw away these alchemy fires, I won't give them to you. Let's go. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and turned to leave with old Qin and the other two. Looking at Qin Feiyang's back, Emperor Hong's old face was full of struggle. Plop. Finally, he powerlessly lowered his arms, bent his knees, and knelt on the ground, saying in a low voice, I'm sorry. Qin Feiyang suddenly froze. Old Qin and Lu Jiajin also froze in place. Originally, they all thought that with Emperor Hong's self-esteem, it was impossible for him to do such a thing, but they didn't expect that he actually did it. Who? Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, did not look at Emperor Hong, directly took out the sky-profound flame, and directly threw it to Emperor Hong, saying, I hope you take care of yourself. Finished speaking, he left without looking back. If you knew earlier, why did you do it in the first place? Sigh. Old Qin turned his head to look at Emperor Hong, let out a long sigh, and also left with large strides. Perhaps this is the retribution that the people talk about. I hope you don't continue to be wrong. Lu Jiajin shook his head, and also quickly disappeared. After the three of them left, Emperor Hong got up and grabbed the sky profound flame, his old eyes emitting a monstrous killing intent. Retribution? Hehe. You guys can be proud of yourselves for now. Wait until one day in the future. The humiliation this old man suffered today will definitely be returned to you 10 times. 100 times. A sinister smile gradually crawled up his face, as if a demon was awakening. It was incomparably terrifying. Bright Heaven Palace. Qin Feiyang returned here once again. Although during this period of time, Qin Feiyang was being suppressed every day, no one dared to come to the Bright Heaven Palace. Therefore, this place had always been empty, and no one cleaned it. On the ground, there were many withered yellow leaves, and the tables and chairs in the hall were also covered with a thin layer of dust, filled with a bit of loneliness and depression. Qin Feiyang stood in the center of the hall, scanning the surroundings, his eyes filled with emotion. A moment later, Qin Feiyang turned his head to look at old Qin beside him, and said with a smile, "You go to the ancient tower to rest first." "All right." Old Qin nodded. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and old Qin immediately disappeared. Immediately, Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Jiajin, cupped his hands and said, "Big cousin, thank you, and also sincerely thank second grandfather for me. If not for the Lu family's help this time, the little prince would definitely have no way to survive. We're all family, what's there to be polite about?" Lu Jiajin shook his head and smiled. "Family?" Qin Feiyang shouted, "Elder Wang, Elder Qin Lei Bao, come over here. I have something to discuss with you." The sound was not very loud, but it was clearly transmitted into the village. Whoosh! Immediately, 3 streams of light flew out of the village and went straight to the mountain peak, where Qin Feiyang was. "What's the matter now?" When they landed on the mountain peak, Elder Qin looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. After returning to the ancient pagoda, his butt had not even warmed up yet. Qin Feiyang immediately explained the situation that Lu Jiajin had told him to the 2 men and 1 beast. "There's such a thing." Lei Bao raised his eyebrows. Qin Feiyang nodded and said, "So I want to ask, do you have any good suggestions?" Fatso and the white-eyed wolf were the first people and beasts to follow him. He definitely had to bring them along. As for the people of the Sky Tiger tribe, the strongest was Yen Wei. The others were only battle saints. Hence, no matter what the result was, the miracle had nothing to do with them. Then, only the people in the village and the beasts in the ancient pagoda were left. Elder Qin pondered for a moment and said, "Actually, I think that having more people might not be a good thing." Qin Feiyang, Wang Yangfeng, and Lei Bao couldn't help but look at him suspiciously. Although the miracle is a place full of opportunities, not everyone can get these opportunities. On the contrary, the probability of sacrifice is very high. So, I think that we just need to choose some stronger people to go in. For example, Dan Wangkai can help refine all kinds of pills. Another example is the Spirit Snake Emperor. It has no aura, and the advantage of changing the color of its skin. At the critical moment, it can play a key role. Another example is the Wolf King. Although his cultivation is not high, he can strip the fighting soul of all living creatures. Elder Qin said, "That makes sense. More people might not be able to help young lord." Wang Yangfeng nodded. "What do you mean?" Qin Feiyang looked at the 2 and asked. "My suggestion is that the people in the ancient pagoda should not go in, especially the people and beasts at the peak of the 9-star Battle Emperor realm. Because for the people and beasts at the peak of the Battle Emperor realm, comprehending the profound meaning of becoming a god is the most important thing. Although there are divine items, divine arts, and other treasures in the divine ruins, these things are not very helpful to becoming a god." Elder Qin said, "I object." Wang Yangfeng raised his hand and said, "If we don't go, then who will protect young lord?" Elder Qin shook his head and said with a smile, "Old Wang, do you think the current Qin Feiyang still needs someone to protect him? When the time comes, he will be distracted to protect you." Wang Yangfeng was stunned and couldn't find a reason to refute. Qin Feiyang looked at Elder Qin and asked, "What about you?" "I want to go." The late emperor had been to the miracle before. I want to see if I can find the footprints left by the late emperor. Elder Qin said with a determined light in his old eyes. Then it's decided. Except for Wolf King and the others in the ancient castle, no one should go. I will look for the old master later, and give him the ancient pagoda. Everyone can cultivate here in peace. Qin Feiyang said. It was too much work to ask everyone to leave the ancient pagoda and move to the Lu family's island. So it was better to just give the ancient pagoda to the old master. In this way, everything in the ancient pagoda would be the same as usual. With the ancient castle, the ancient pagoda didn't mean much to Qin Feiyang. Wang Yangfeng frowned and said, Young lord, I'm really worried. Don't worry about me. Just cultivate in peace, and strive to step into the semi-divinity realm as soon as possible. Only when all of you step into the semi-divinity realm will I have the capital to fight against Great Qin, Lu Xingqian, and the main pagoda. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. All right, we will work hard and live up to your expectations. Wang Yangfeng nodded and solemnly promised. Qin Feiyang nodded. Boss Qin that. Lei Bao looked at Qin Feiyang pitifully. Don't try anything funny. My expectations for you are even greater. When I return from the divine sight, I hope to see that you have stepped into the semi-divinity realm, or even the peak of the semi-divinity realm. Qin Feiyang said. Boring. Lei Bao pouted. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. He entered the ancient castle again and glanced at the white-eyed wolf, Lu Hong and the others. After many years of cultivation, everyone's cultivation base had basically broken through to the combat emperor realm. For example, Fatso, the pangolin, the double-winged snow eagle, and the phantom snake emperor. Although the black dragon snake and Lu Hong had crippled their cultivation base and started anew. After these years of seclusion, they had caught up with everyone's pace. And now, the strongest one was undoubtedly the fire Qilin. Although it hadn't opened the door of potential, it relied on the bloodline power of the Qilin divine beast. After leaving the Mu family, it had advanced by a small realm. 6-star combat emperor. However, there were also people and beasts that didn't meet the requirements. That was Run Wushuang and the giant python. Although Run Wushuang had opened the door of potential, she hadn't cultivated in the ancient castle before. Therefore, her cultivation base had only reached the 6-star combat saint realm. As for the giant python, although it had also opened the door of potential after following Qin Feiyang, and had eaten divine meat, transforming into a flood dragon, and causing its cultivation base to soar to the 3-star combat master realm, before following Qin Feiyang, its cultivation base was too low. Therefore, its current cultivation base was the lowest in this small group. Currently, it had only broken through to the 9-star combat master realm. Therefore, Run Wushuang and the flood dragon were unable to enter the divine sight. Qin Feiyang sighed and stepped forward to look at Run Wushuang. He said helplessly, Sis and you little fellow. Qin Feiyang said as he bent down and held the flood dragon in his palm. This was because the flood dragon had shrunk its body in the ancient castle, making it look like a small earthworm. You all heard it too. It's not that I don't want to bring you to the divine sight. It's just that I can't bring you in. Qin Feiyang said as he looked at the man and beast. Run Wushuang opened his eyes and smiled helplessly. He stood up and looked at Qin Feiyang. It's okay, as long as you came back alive. The flood dragon also made a helpless expression, feeling rather regretful in its heart. Because of this, the gap between it and everyone else would grow larger and larger. Run Wushuang naturally understood this logic, but the rules of the divine sight were like this, and he couldn't force it. Qin Feiyang did not delay any longer, and brought Run Wushuang and the flood dragon into the ancient pagoda, descending in front of the medicine field's courtyard. Qin Feiyang, is my father okay? Xiao Kaier was chatting with the old man and the others in the courtyard. When she saw Qin Feiyang appear, she immediately got up and ran over to ask. He's fine. Qin Feiyang smiled. Grandfather. Uncle Yan. Aunt Xiao. Aunt. Run Wushuang entered the courtyard and greeted the old man. Yan Nanshan, Luo Qinxue, and Lu Ji one by one. The four nodded. Qin Feiyang stood outside the courtyard and bowed to the four of them across the air. He then looked at the old man and said, There's something I want to talk to you about. What's the matter? The old man got up and walked over. Qin Feiyang put down the flood dragon and appeared in the main hall of the Bright Sky Palace with the old man. He then explained the situation to the old man in detail. After the old man listened, he frowned and said, "Then according to what you said, Shuang'er can't enter the divine sight?" "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. "What a pity. Do you know? Shuang'er swore in front of her father's grave that she would personally take revenge on Lu Xingqian. So she wanted to enter the divine sight more than anyone else. But now," sigh. The old man couldn't continue and could only let out a long sigh. "There's nothing we can do about it. The rules are as such." Qin Feiyang was silent for a while and said, "Yes, we mortals can't break the rules of the divine sight. Perhaps this is Shuang'er's fate. It's my fault. If I had let her follow you earlier, she wouldn't be a 6-star battle saint now." The old man's face was full of self-blame. "You don't have to blame yourself. Sister doesn't have to bear so much pressure. Because there's still me. Although sister and I aren't biological siblings, we're closer than biological siblings. Her business is my business. I'll settle the score with Lu Xingqian." Qin Feiyang said, his words cold and threatening. "Then I'll leave everything to you." The old man smiled. "Yes." Moreover, an appropriate amount of relaxation was also beneficial to one's cultivation. Hence Qin Feiyang gave up on cultivating. In the morning, he followed the men in the village out to farm and graze. In the afternoon, he played with the children in the village. In the evening, he accompanied the elders in the village to drink tea and chat. The rest of the day passed peacefully. He wanted to completely let himself go. The next evening, Lu Xing appeared at the village entrance. The stench on his body had disappeared, but the anger in his heart was still there. Especially when he saw that Qin Feiyang was living so comfortably in the village, he was even more unhappy. He directly challenged Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang didn't care. If he wanted to fight, then so be it. But when they fought, Qin Feiyang suppressed his cultivation. But even if he suppressed his cultivation in the end, Lu Xing was still beaten black and blue. The people in the village didn't stop him either. They all treated it as a show. The third day, Qin Feiyang finally met Uncle Black. This was a dark-skinned man who was very forthright. His cultivation had also reached the peak of the 9-star combat emperor realm. But late that night, after everyone finished drinking, Uncle Black left the village. Qin Feiyang didn't even have a chance to chat for a while. Time passed in the blink of an eye. The day of the miracle's opening had finally arrived. Early morning, the sun rose from the east. It was full of vitality. Qin Feiyang opened the door and stood in the courtyard. He faced the morning sun and stretched lazily. For the past few days, he slept very soundly every night. He hadn't relaxed like this for a long time. He felt that every part of his body was incomparably comfortable. Suddenly, he smelled the aroma of rice. He retracted his gaze and looked at the stone table at the side. There were 5 or 6 delicious side dishes, and 3 bowls of millet porridge neatly placed on it. "Get up. Go wash up and get ready to eat." The old master walked out of the kitchen with 2 plates of side dishes. He looked at Qin Feiyang and smiled. "Okay." Qin Feiyang nodded. The old master had been staying in the village for the past few days. Although his cultivation wasn't very high, because of Qin Feiyang, the villagers respected him very much. And second grandpa didn't treat him as an outsider. Not only did he let the old master stay in his house, but he also brought the old master around every day. It's better to come at the right time than to come at the right time. Just as Qin Feiyang and the others were about to eat, Lu Xing ran over and sat directly opposite Qin Feiyang. He picked up a bowl of millet porridge and wolfed it down. Second grandpa scolded. "Brat, don't you see that old Master Rin is here? You have no manners at all." Lu Xing quickly looked up at the old master and smiled. "Good morning, Grandpa Rin." Good. Eat more if you like." Old master smiled. "Of course I like it," Lu Xing said. Qin Feiyang glanced at Lu Xing and said disdainfully, "You really don't stand on ceremony at all." Lu Xing raised his eyebrows and said angrily, "Don't talk to me. I haven't forgiven you yet." "Do I need your forgiveness?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. Old master and second grandpa looked at each other and couldn't help laughing. Second grandpa looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "Ask your eldest cousin to come out. Let's have breakfast together." Okay. Qin Feiyang moved his mind, and Lu Jiajin immediately appeared beside him. Second grandpa, Grandpa Ren. Lu Jiajin behaved very well, and was polite. Okay. Second grandpa nodded and asked, "How is your cultivation?" "After 40 days of meditation, it's almost stable," Lu Jiajin said. "That's good. Sit down and eat. Take it as us two old men sending you off." Second grandpa smiled. Okay. Lu Jiajin nodded and sat next to Qin Feiyang. Old master got up and brought Lu Jiajin a bowl of millet porridge. "Thank you, Grandpa Ren." Lu Jiajin took the bowl of millet porridge, looked at old master and thanked him. Then he ate it in small bites. The time for the meal passed quickly. Jin Zheng Feiyang. Second grandpa looked at the three of them, and his face became extremely serious. Qin Feiyang and the other two put down their bowls and chopsticks, and looked up at second grandpa suspiciously. Second grandpa said, "I only have one thing to say to you. You must come back alive." The three of them nodded heavily. Second grandpa glanced at the three of them, and then looked at old master. After a short silence, old master looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two and said with a smile, "To be honest, with your cultivation, I'm really not qualified to preach to you." Lu Jiajin said with a smile, "Grandpa Ren is Feiyang's elder, which means you're also my and Lu Zheng's elder. There's no harm in speaking frankly." Okay. Then I'll take advantage of my seniority to say a few words. In terms of strength and intelligence, you're all the best of the younger generation. No one can even compare to you. But this time, it's not only the younger generation that's going to enter the miracle, but also the older generation. For example, the state preceptor, Mu Changyin, and so on. These people are all existences that you can't compete with now. So after entering the miracle, no matter what happens, you have to think twice before you act. Don't try to show off. The most important thing is that you have to be united. To paraphrase a popular saying, if brothers are of one heart, their sharpness can cut through gold. Also, like your second grandpa, I hope that you can all come back alive. Old master said, "Thank you for your teachings, Grandpa Ren." Lu Jiajin did not look down on old master because of the difference in cultivation at all. Instead, he respected him. Second grandpa waved his hand and said, "When a bird grows up, it will eventually fly out. In the future, this world will be your stage. Go ahead and do whatever you want." Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at each other and stood up one after another. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and Old Master Qin appeared out of thin air. Old Master Qin looked at Old Master and second grandpa. He cupped his hands and said with a smile, "Hello, both of you." The two of them smiled and returned the greeting. Immediately after, the ancient pagoda flew out from between Qin Feiyang's eyebrows and flew to Old Master Qin, saying, "I'll leave everything in the ancient pagoda to you." Okay. Old Master Qin nodded. "Goodbye, second grandpa." "Goodbye, Grandpa Ren." The three of them bowed deeply and opened a teleportation door. Lu Jiajin also took out the mask from his Qingquan bag and put it on his face again. Lu Zheng was sent to the castle by Qin Feiyang. Whoosh! Immediately after, Qin Feiyang and Lu Jiajin turned into streams of light and rushed into the portal one after another. Old Master Qin looked at second grandpa and said, "I don't know if I'll survive this trip. If I can come back alive, I'll definitely come back and drink with the two of you." "My pleasure." Second grandpa and Old Master Qin laughed. Also, Old Master Qin looked at second grandpa and pleaded, "If there are any changes in Great Qin during this period, please help Old Master Lu." "I will." Second grandpa nodded. "Thank you very much then." Old Master Qin thanked him and turned around to step into the portal. It's a miracle. So many people's dreams and so many people's graves. Is it worth it? Second grandpa sighed. Whether it's worth it or not, only those who go in will know. We're not qualified to say anything. Old Master Qin laughed. Yes. Second grandpa nodded. When Qin Feiyang and the other two arrived in the sky above the square of the first district, countless people had already gathered in the first district. Everyone looked at the gate of time and space with a look of longing. Qin Feiyang, Old Master Qin, and that masked man. They really came. But this time, so many experts have entered the miracle, and there are even pseudo-gods. It's probably a problem whether Qin Feiyang can come back alive. Seeing Qin Feiyang and the other two arrive, the people immediately whispered to each other. Qin Feiyang and the other two didn't pay any attention to him. They directly soared into the sky and entered the space-time gate. The sky above the imperial city and the main tower of the central divine kingdom was also crowded and noisy. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.